Welcome to the testing world. So previously we have seen how we can create data files, and also we have seen how we can pick data from Excel and CSV. Now I'm going to cover two more options or two more type of data files. One is internal data file and other one is database. So for that we are going to make database connection. I'm going to use first internal data files. I'm just moving to the Catalan Studio. Here in the data files, new test data, giving the name like internal data. Which kind of data you want to use? So I'm using internal data files. I'm just giving like internal data file name is, I've just given the name internal data files. Okay, internal data files means we are not picking the data from anywhere else. I'm just defining my all data over here. So whenever you think you have only few set of test data, we can define our test data here. But if you have large set of test data, always a good practice to go either with the CSV or Excel or database. So here first column is already defined, which is number. I can define any number of columns, like I'm saying user name. In the same way I'm saying password. So you can define any number of columns here. Now we can define data like number is all automatically set 1, username is data, or I'll say user 1, pass 1. In the same way I can go to second row, user 2, pass 2. Third row I'm going to user 3, pass 3. So you can define any number of data here in the Catalan Studio itself. We are not using any external file. But this approach is going to be used only when you have only few set of test data. So you are defining the data over here. But if you have large set of test data, or you think your data could change, so in that cases the best approach is to go for external files like CSV, Excel or database. So here we have seen what is the use of internal data files and how we can use it. Now I'm coming to the database. In my case, in my system, the database that I'm having is MySQL. So first of all, I'm going to show you my database, and that's a database I'm having. Here we have a customers table. So that's the data which is stored into the customers table. So I'm using MySQL database and I'm going to connect with this database. I'm just coming to the Catalan Studio, and this time I'm going to create one more test data, which is database, and giving the name like MySQL. And here I'm selecting database data. Okay. Now it is asking for information of the database. So I'm just coming here, edit query, and here we need to give details of the database. So I'm just going for secure username and password. So my username of the database was root, password I'm giving, connection URL. So you can select this, like I'm using MySQL. So I just copied this and going to make some changes. So first of all, here you need to give IP of the machine where your database is placed. In my case, my database is placed on my system itself. So I'm just giving localhost. On which port the database is running? So if you remember, when I opening MySQL, here it also shows the port, which is 3306. That is by default placed over here. Database name, in my case, database name is testing. So I'm just giving database name. Now test connection successful means yes, we are able to connect with the database. Now here at the bottom we can write query. I'm writing like select star from customers. I have a table with the name customers. I'm writing a query for picking the data from the customer. Click on OK. As it execute, it is picking all the data from the database and placing over here. So you can check you are getting all the data with a different set of columns, and now I can use this data in my test cases. So very straightforward, that is, we should have the details of the database. We can easily connect with the database. One thing you will notice over here, when we are going for edit query, here I'm giving the details, but if I want to fetch data from the different table as well, for the 2 or 3 different tables, so I have to add one more test data. Here I have to define database. Again, I have to make connection. Other approach is that I'll make connection on one place and going to use it on the different places. For that, first I'm going here in the project and we have a settings. In the settings you have database. Here we can define your connection details, like my username is this, password is this, connection URL, so I'm just using MySQL, and on the place of database name I'm giving testing, test connection, done. So I have created a connection here in the global setting, here on the global place, means here in the settings on one place. Now whenever you want to pick data from the database, so I'm just coming here and test data, I'm saying database global. From where you want to pick data? I want to pick data from the database. Now edit query, you need not to put details over here, you just need to use global database connection string, test connection. Yes, it's working. You can put your query over here. So I'm saying okay, select star from, I have a table with the name employees. Okay, so now it is fetching data from the employees table. So advantage is that I have created database connection on the project setting level, or I'll say global level, and using the same connection wherever required to connect with the database. So here if we need to pick data from the 10 different tables, we just make the connection on the global level and using same connection in 10 different data files. So here we have seen how we can fetch data from the database, and also we have seen internal data files. So we have covered different type of data files. In the coming session I'll show you how we can use this data in our test cases. That's all we have for this session. Thanks for watching this video.